Joseph, I guess it sounds weird to say proud, but I was so happy that my partner and I at the time cast you on Criminal Minds because you came in for a role that wasn't written for any particular disability. It was just a role, and you came in and you auditioned against everybody else and you got the role. And that's something that we were working really hard to do much more of. And I'm certainly continuing to try to do that. And I'm sure that you can speak to the challenges that brings up.
Yes, I mean, for me, that was, you know, we have our checkbook, like our little checklist of things we want to do as actors and the roles we want to take on. And for me, for a long time as a disabled actor, the goal to do a role that wasn't focused on the disability, like you said, it wasn't written as a disabled role. It wasn't meant to be quote unquote a disabled role. It was a reporter. It was just when I go into these kind of things, I would 10 out of 10 rather get a one-liner where I get to just be a person than a full episode where it feels like on a very special episode, which is what I always call them, where it feels like the whole thing's about disability. The only reason I'm there, it's about disability. We have to over-explain my existence on the show just so that everyone feels comfortable. Like, it can't just be a lawyer. It has to be, well, he got injured years ago and now he wants to pursue justice because he never got the person that got him in an accident. And that's why he's disabled, but also a lawyer. It's like, or he could just be a lawyer. It doesn't have to be explained. I could be a reporter.
Right.
And it meant a lot to me that was the first role I got where I could just exist in the scene. It wasn't like, hey, you, Wheels, what do you think? It wasn't about, but it happened. I mean, not to throw anyone, all love around the world, and every role I've done, I've learned things from.
It does happen a lot. And it was when you mentioned about, like, you can't just sort of be a lawyer. It has to be a lawyer with this backstory of, like, he couldn't get justice, but, like, the accident happened to him. And I was literally thinking the other day that it's so rare where I'll see a disabled character who plays a villain or a bad guy or an unsub or whatever. And their reason for being a bad guy is always, like, because they're disabled. I just want one regular bad guy who happens to also be disabled. But it's always like they're so angry at the world because they're disabled and this is the worst thing that's happened to them. And because of that, they go on this, like, rampage or something. And I would love to see just a regular bad guy who just also happens to be disabled. Like, it doesn't need to be the reason that they are that. But yeah, that was just what that reminded me of completely.